126 takes us east out of Pittsburg, where we will cross the state line into Missouri after only a few miles. So the bulk of today's ride will be in Missouri. Golden City and Everton should have services and water for us, which we will need since we're doubling the amount of climbing compared with yesterday. And Golden City is home to Cookie's Cafe, a famous stop for pie along the Transamerica Trail. Good morning, it's Monday, June 24. That means it's day 40. Been doing this for 40 days, 3 rest days, so 37 days of cycling. And we're leaving Pittsburgh at 4:57 a.m. And the hotel even had a continental breakfast. It probably didn't open until 6 or 6:30. And so why skip it? Well, the counter area for the continental breakfast was like 3 feet wide. What could they possibly fit there? So I think that what we're missing out on is some prepackaged muffins and maybe an urn full of coffee. So not a big loss, but we had some great snacks for breakfast from what Sarah and Grant left with us yesterday. We'll be hitting the Missouri border soon, and it's going to be dark still. So we're going to have to light up that Welcome to Missouri sign when we get there. Why am I leaving so early this morning? Because today is going to be 98 degrees and humid. And I want to ride in that heat as little as possible. Earlier the departure, cooler the ride. This is downtown Pittsburgh at 5 a.m. Good luck finding a parking spot. Okay, I'm looking at a sign that says leaving Kansas, and that's right here. And it's a quarter mile to the Welcome to Missouri sign. This is what they call the demilitarized zone between Kansas and Missouri. It's kind of like the, North Korea, South Korea demilitarized zone. Anything can happen here. There are snipers in trees on both sides. So we're just being a little extra cautious as we ride through the demilitarized zone. We made it here with some light in the sky, and some pretty light in the sky. Thank you for welcoming me, Missouri, with this beautiful sunrise. What part of the Show Me state does the Transamerica Trail go through? Of course, the most mountainous section, the Ozarks in the south. The river valley in the center of the state is the Missouri River, which flows from Kansas City in the west to St. Louis in the east. That extremely flat region where the Ozarks abruptly end in the southeast is the Mississippi Alluvial Plain, formed by sediment from several rivers. Oh, each one with its mother. How cute is that? Thankfully, I didn't trigger any of the landmines in the demilitarized zone between Kansas and Missouri. A lot of people lose their lives every year. Moment of silence for those who lose their lives due to the Kansas-Missouri landmines. Impressions of Missouri after the first mile. All the cattle here must be Longhorns. All of them. I've seen 4, and they've all been Longhorns. Sample size of 4, and if we assume the population is representative of the sample, there you go, conclusion. No, it's nice. Roads smooth and fine, no shoulder, but the roads, I guess it might be a little too early to tell. It doesn't seem like a very heavily trafficked road. So not a big deal if there's not a shoulder on a low trafficked road. It's a big deal. when there's no shoulder on a heavily trafficked road. I am 8 miles into the trip this morning, and it's been nice and cool, but humid. I can feel I'm sweating even though the air feels cool. And we're 28 miles to Cookie's Cafe in Golden City, Missouri. You know, there's lots of places that people remember and mention on the Transamerica Trail, like the June Curry house in Afton. And certainly in terms of a place for food, I think Cookie's Cafe gets more mentions than anywhere else. So they're known for their pie. They open at 6 a.m. It's 5:45 right now, but like I said, 28 miles to go. So it'll be well open by the time we get there. And we'll see if it's as good as its reputation. If you're in the Midwest and you want to gain some street cred, I learned from Sarah and Grant a phrase I was unaware of. It's KC-Mo. KC-Mo is Kansas City, Missouri. If you want to sound legit. Ooh, look at that sun. Oh, it's time for sun protection. Gonna stop up here and don all the stuff. Much less comfortable now, but much more protected from the sun. Putting on arm sleeves when your arms are sweaty because it's humid outside, that is so difficult. They slide right on if I'm in the hotel room, you know, all clean and dry. Just whoop. Oh man, it's a long process. Here's a memorable story from my teaching that relates to sun protection. This just happened fall 23. About 10 minutes into class, you know, class is going on, and a student opened the door in the back of the lecture hall and started walking in 10 minutes late. And this student was in, I'm talking, a full spacesuit, like the silvery spacesuit with the spherical helmet that was all tinted, you know, couldn't see any of the student's face, and the boots. And it didn't look like, you know, a suit that you just like go to some Halloween store and get for a costume. Like it looked legit. And as the student was walking in, you know, a lot of other students were turning around, and I just made a comment like, oh, and it looks like we have an astronaut joining us today. You know, and a few students chuckled. And then, like, as those words came out of my mouth, I was reminded of some, you know, 2020 or 48 hours special I had seen years ago of some kid who was unable to play outside because any amount of sun or UV rays on his skin would just cause his skin to blister, some extremely rare skin condition. And NASA made him a suit that allowed him to play outside. And, you know, it looked like an astronaut, and he was out there at recess playing with the kids. And I was thinking, oh no, David, did you just make fun of this poor student for having some condition where he or she needs to wear a spacesuit? And it turns out that was not the case. It was somebody coming in to promote some new social media network, and she was handing out flyers in the middle of my lecture dressed as an astronaut. So that's the story. I thought I had to eat my words after saying something offensive, and that didn't turn out to be the case. The real reason I wear all this protection isn't for the sun. It's so that I don't pepper spray myself. You want to see my pepper spray? I'll show you my pepper spray. I got it, I don't know, less than a week ago, and here it is. I put it in my front little pouch. I gotta find a better spot for it so it's quicker access. But up here is a little safety. Turn this safety to the side, press down, and no more dogs chasing me. That's the idea anyway. How quick am I going to be at getting this out of my holster? Spraying those dogs. We'll see. Everybody has a different approach with the dogs. One guy we met yesterday said, I just stop. Whenever the dogs chase me, I stop and get off my bike. Another guy said he treats the dogs real nice at first, like, hey, who's a good boy? Who wants to play? And then if the dog gets more aggressive, he starts yelling at him to go home in a terribly fierce voice. There's other people who say, grab one of your water bottles and squirt water at it. The dogs don't like that. Other people carry some sort of stick or bludgeoning instrument and swing at the dogs. Other people have an air horn, and that scares the dogs away. And there's some people who have a moral opposition to the pepper spray, and I get it. I don't want to pepper spray a dog. It doesn't give me joy. You don't get joy at salting Gale the snail. You don't get joy at pepper spraying a dog chasing you, but for self-preservation, it's worth it. I mean, it's not like I'm carrying a firearm and ending the dog's life. I'm causing the dog 30 minutes of discomfort, and it will go on in its merry life. And hopefully, any future cyclists should be happy, because that dog has one more instance where chasing a cyclist resulted in pain and discomfort, and so maybe it would not chase the next cyclist and keep them safe. That's my thought anyways. And another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this camera angle to be the ultra wide, and so when dogs start chasing me, I can hit record and you can see it in real time and hopefully see more of around me and the dogs and what's going on. It was kind of terrifying yesterday when I had those 3 dogs chasing me. I kid you not. Right after I finished recording that video, a dog starts barking from over there and comes running at me. I immediately grab my pepper spray. He gets close. It was just the tiniest little, and that stopped him. I first tried to show him the pepper spray because somebody told me some of the dogs are trained to just, if you hold something that looks like pepper spray, they'll back off. Okay, the pepper spray has been used on one dog so far. I did not get joy out of doing it. I wish I didn't have to, but I know I'm safe and I feel comfortable. Yesterday we met an ex-military gentleman who was going east to west, and he told Paul and I he felt safer in Afghanistan sleeping at night than he did in eastern Kentucky. Those were his words. He said all the houses look like they are garbage dumps in front of them. Many of them are burned out. Of course, the dogs chasing you. He was told by somebody, hey, if you see somebody in the street that's like waving you down, don't stop, because that person is a meth addict who's going to rob you to get something to purchase meth. So, wow. I mean, I knew Eastern Kentucky had a reputation, but the stories we're hearing from Transamerican cyclists who have been through it are even worse than what I read. Missouri also has the Bike Route 76 signs. Thank you, Missouri. I just passed something I'd never seen before, and it was 2 drones, huge quadcopter drones, that were fertilizing a field. And then I saw a couple guys standing on the top of a flatbed truck with some controls and all these big vats full of liquid chemicals. It's now appropriate to show you this little pin that Sarah and Grant put in our goodie bags. Oh, it's so true. We are not in Kansas anymore. Dorothy Gale, we're in Missouri. the most well-known eatery on the Transamerica Trail here in Golden City, Missouri. I ordered myself ham and eggs with a pancake and a slice of coconut cream pie. And we recognize several names on the past few pages of the guest log here that they keep at Cookies Cafe.
One of my days on my I got one of my tires on my
All that was $7.80. Cookies Cafe lived up to its reputation. Everything was delicious. The pancake was just malty and delicious. The ham was tasty. The eggs were cooked well. And yeah, the coconut cream pie. Lovely. Ooh, do we have a cycle tourist up there to meet? I think we do. Alright, might be meeting another cycle tourist. I thought we'd be staying tonight in Ash Grove. There is a city park, but the city park has a house in it that they have in the past allowed cycle tourists to stay in, called the Barham House in Ash Grove. I called the town hall while we were at Cookies just to make sure that was okay, and learned that they no longer let cyclists stay there. And they suggested some historical site a few miles outside of town where we could camp. But it's 98 degrees today and humid. You do not want to camp in 98 degrees. So I started looking on Google Maps and making the church calls. My first call was to the Methodist Church, no answer. My second call was to the First Baptist Church in Ash Grove. Introduced myself, said I'm cycling across country, and wondering if they host cyclists. And she said, we do. I said, wonderful. And she had to check the calendar to make sure nothing was going on. But we have an air-conditioned church to sleep in tonight in Ash Grove. And that put a smile on my face. I'd been lugging around this heavy pepper grinder all summer. You know, when I want to flavor my eggs. But now, just little tss, and we're good. So I can get rid of that pepper grinder now. Oh, a sprinkler is shooting out onto the road, and I'm gonna ride right through it. Ah! Woo! Oh, that was wetter than I thought it was going to be. Let's see if Paul does the same thing. I'm looking in my mirror. Let's see if Paul wants it. Oh yeah, Paul's going right through it. Yeah! Oh, I wish we could ride through one of those a couple times a day. It was a crop irrigation system, and it was shooting out into the street, so I thought I gotta ride through that. All right, fun experiences. Everything was delicious. The pancake was just malty and delicious. The ham was tasty. The eggs were cooked well. And yeah, the coconut cream pie. Lovely. Ooh, do we have a cycle tourist up there to meet? I think we do. Alright, might be meeting another cycle tourist. Not a cycle tourist, just a cyclist going through town. We actually don't see much of that. Usually if we're seeing a cyclist anywhere on this trip, it is another Transamerica. 9.5% grade. Welcome to the Ozarks. remember, a dew point above 70 is gross. It's only 10:50 a.m. and the dew point is 76 degrees already. 16.3 miles to go. Glad we started at 4:55 a.m. and I'm honestly thinking, how early can I start tomorrow? Like, should I be on my bike at 3:30 a.m.? I'll make a decision later tonight. High today is 98 degrees. Road closure 5 miles ahead. It's a bridge, and we are going the 5 miles toward the bridge in hopes that we on bicycles can get through the construction without having to turn back and add even more miles. If I didn't mention, the detour would be about 10 miles for guaranteed to get around this bridge. But 10 miles in this heat, that's a hard sell. So I'm hoping we can either get these bikes across the bridge that's closed, or we could walk them down to whatever creek or body of water that this bridge is crossing and just get them over ourselves, like Oregon Trail fording the river and then hauling them back up the other side and continuing on with the ride. Both those options are way better than a 10-mile detour. It worked! It worked! We're going across the bridge. Only one construction guy working. I tried to get his attention and indicate, hey, can I walk across? And he didn't respond, and Paul said, let's just go, let's just go. And so we're going, and yes, we saved ourselves a 10-mile detour. Oh, praise the Lord. Hello. All right. There were more construction workers, and they were on their lunch break, and they just smiled as we went by. I don't think they cared. All right. Paul's raising his fist in victory. We rode through our last little town before Ash Grove. It's called Everton. And I looked on the map and I saw a service station. Thought it was going to be a gas station. It was really just like a little auto mechanic shop. I peeked my head in, and there's 6 men all sitting in chairs just around the the reception area there, open air, and said, do you sell cold drinks? Well, yeah, whatever we got in the fridge over there. So we got a couple cold drinks and sat with the gentleman and enjoyed learning about the Ozarks in Missouri. All right, no more stopping until Ash Grove now. 7.5 miles away. This is happening at the church we're staying at. Look at this. Faith, freedom, fireworks, and firearms. No, not firearms. Featuring Preacher's Chuck Wagon. All right. We have made it to the Ash Grove First Baptist Church. That's the actual church building. And of course, any good Baptist church needs a Baptist church van. But we are staying here in the Family Life Center. And they've only hosted one other cycle tourist this year, but they said they have a group of 18 coming in a couple weeks. But we have bathrooms down there. One of the bathrooms has a shower and a kitchen down at the end of that hall where we could cook and store things in the refrigerator. And look at this. Big, big room for 2 of us. I'm right here near the bathroom, so I can go to the bathroom in the night. And Paul said, David, I want to be as far away from you as humanly possible, but in the same room. And so he's over there. No, the reason he's over there is because that does in fact have a carpeted floor on the stage. So a little bit more comfort than my tile floor here. Paul is taking stock Paul said, I have too much food in my bag. What can I get rid of and donate to this church?
Not the banana bread. That's coming with me.
A second trip to the grocery store of the day to get something for dinner. Since we have access to a kitchen, I am making a frozen pizza. That sounded good to me, as we have an oven at the church. And then a few things for breakfast tomorrow morning and some fruit. And Paul is going to make himself a homemade burrito. It's time for your daily recap from the First Baptist Church in Ash Grove. Today's scenery was a 4 out of 10, and today's difficulty was a 5 out of 10. I think that the temperature played a big role. I wish we could have done today's ride back in the weather we were having out west, but I think this humidity is really going to start taking a toll on us. And my overall feeling of positivity is at an 8.